welcome, everyone. Super excited for today's episode of the DTP Show. This is a place, a space for art designers within Design to Profit to really showcase their journey, to showcase just everything that they've gone through in this journey of building a design business. And our goal here is to inspire, to empower, and to just show you what is possible. So today I have one of my students on, Felicia. I am so excited to dive in and have you share your journey with us because what are you, about 10, 11 months now in DTP?
Nine. June will be
Oh,
year month. Yeah.
oh, we done gave you 2 more months. Okay, you just, making that good progress. So I want to first, let me just have you introduce yourself and then we will dive right in. So let us know where you are, where
Yeah.
you're from, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So hi everyone. My name is Felicia. I am the founder of designbyfelicia.com. So I help serial entrepreneurs streamline and automate their systems so they can make sleep money. So I started with Amber actually, or the Design to Profit last June. I was turning 32 and I was just like, I need something different. Whatever I'm doing is not working. And it's funny because I had seen your ads probably 3 or 4 years ago and I was like, huh,
Really?
I seen it. And then I just kind of like ignored. Yeah. And then it popped up and I'm like, let me see what this is about. So it didn't really take me that much time to be like, yeah, exactly what I needed.
Mm.
And I'm so happy I made that decision.
Yay! I love that. I had no idea that you had been kind of in my space for that long. That's so interesting. Like, I can't remember where I was talking about this. It might have been a coaching call. I don't recall, but essentially, like, people are always watching, and you never
Yeah.
know. You just never know who is watching. So I love that. Great little. I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
so you said you had been following, you knew me about a couple years, but I guess there was something I don't know. Tell me kind of what that looked like. You had came in contact with me but weren't ready to make a decision, or to tell me a little bit about that. I'm curious.
Yeah. Yeah, no, of course. I think I'm still figuring it out. I think I was in between, do I really want to do design? Is this for me? I'm like, am I gonna invest in something and this is not the direction I'm going? So I think it took a lot of me doing the inner work to be like, no, this is what you want. This is what you need at the moment. And I think even before that, I had joined other coaching programs, but it was just not hitting. And I think because they weren't specializing in web design, they were generalists. They're like, yeah, we can help you build a 6-figure business. But when I had specific design questions, process questions, it just wasn't clear, or I was getting the very like surfacey responses.
Mm.
So then when I seen something very specific, I was just like, oh my God, this is it. Like, this is exactly what I need. And it didn't really take me much convincing. And I say that because I'm so used to investing myself that if I see I think it was the quality of the content and the consistency and how I seen, I was just like, well, okay. I'm like, the receipts are there. Like, let's just go and see like what this is about.
Right. I love that. Okay. So a couple of years in my space, I remember you came to one of my workshops, one of my paid events. It was a 2-day event. I do remember. And okay,
Yeah.
so you had already invested in other programs. So then tell me, like, you came to this workshop of mine. What was it that you were struggling with that made you say, okay, I'm going to try out this workshop? I'm going to, you were trying to figure something out. Can you tell me like what that looked like?
Yeah, I think more so I was trying to figure out, I wouldn't say how to scale, but how to get the right business model. I think I had like concepts, but it was just all over the place. I had pieces of things all over the place, and I needed someone who had a design business that could provide me kind of like the blueprint. Like, this is how you streamline it.
Right.
This is how you make your business work for you, and your business does not have to look like everyone else. And I think I was really like, now that I really dive deeper in my mind, I was really struggling with my pricing and understanding how could I charge high ticket and I'm not giving more. Like, it just wasn't sitting right for me to just hand someone a website, but I knew I could command more. I just didn't know how and how to position it. And that's what DTP provided me.
Yes. Okay. How to position it, how to charge more. Um, so having invested in other programs with other coaches who weren't specific to the design industry, like how did it
Mhm.
feel trying to figure out, even with, having invested, still having to figure out like the process piece and well, how do I charge more and all of that? What did that experience feel like as you were trying to solve it?
Yeah, so from going to like different programs, I mean, it was cool. I learned a lot. I learned about marketing. It was awesome. This is how I know how to do advanced stuff today versus like being a designer that's just starting out. But it was frustrating because it was like, yeah, I got all this awesome information. Oh my gosh. But I'm like, this is not it.
Yeah.
Like, so going from that to DTP, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, one, like just you going in, it's like, okay, no, first you need to back up and do the inner work. Like, what's working, what's not? How do you envision like doing the visualization and even touching upon doing the inner work? Like, that's so important. And I truly appreciate that you talk about that and even bringing out the different skills that we
Mhm.
have. So yeah, I would say that. And even just thinking about now, how like even going through DTP these last 9 or 10 months, I'm like, wow, what I really do is actually systems, and your website is a system. So that's how I should position it because that is my strength. And it took me time to just like reiterate, and even doing that market research, going through the first 2 modules, which is so important. So, like, when I finally figured that out, and it only happened like maybe a month or two ago, I was like, finally.
Yeah.
it just, it was a light bulb that finally turned on.
Yes, love that. So when the light bulb clicked, like how did things change? Because really it is like this inner knowing that allows just the clarity to come, just the path is so clear. So can you explain like how that was for you once the light bulb clicked?
Yeah,
How did
once the
things
light bulb hit,
change?
yeah, once that changed, I think it was more so confidence. When people were coming to me, I could automatically tell, like, you are not my ideal client. I cannot help you. If you want just a website, I am not your girl. Like, I'm here to help you put the strategies and systems in place to be successful.
Right.
If you want me to slap something there, that's just not me. And I think it also gave me the confidence to be like, the price is the price. Here's my price, and I know the results that I can bring you. And even like you just telling me, look at the numbers, like go back and look at the numbers for your clients. When I did, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like, yes,
The
I,
results
I
were
was
there.
making, I didn't know the results that I was giving to people. So the fact that you kind of had me go back and like, no, look at the results, like get that information, collect the data. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So the thing is, I was doing all of this work, but I did not realize the impact that I was having on people, which is why I think I was struggling to go high ticket or increase my prices more.
Yes.
So that was like a huge like aha moment for me. So now I can easily tell people these are the results I can give you, and if this is not what you're looking for, then I'm not your girl.
Exactly. And it's you've created a no-brainer opportunity. Either you want the result or you don't. Like it really is simple. It takes the emotion out of it and it allows us to lead with data over drama. So you made such a
Yeah.
great point where you were like, I didn't even know the value I was bringing to my clients. Like, I hear that so often. So that brings me to my next question. Like, I don't think you told us the moment you realized like DTP was actually working for you. So I know like you're seeing differences in your clients, you're noticing the value you're bringing, but was there like a moment where you were like, this stuff works, this program works? Like, what did that look like for you?
I think it was in the first 30 days where after I started going through the modules and like, okay, I'm just gonna implement this and I'm just gonna put the price out there
Yeah.
and see what happens. And then when I charged and I was just like 7K and there was no blink, I was like, oh my God.
What?
I was like,
I remember you posted in the group and you were like, wait a minute, I just closed a 7K client with no issues. no issues, you know. And
None.
that kind of brings us to a circle back for where you said, you know, before DTP, you wanted to go high ticket, but you just weren't sure how to do it. And within 30 days, closing a 7K client, like, that's mind blowing.
Yeah, I know. I was like, "Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Like I can do this."
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think DTP gave me the clarity. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, am I really doing this? Does this make sense?" But I had the tools to figure
Mhm,
it out along the way. I think a lot of times we get stuck like, "Oh my gosh, I don't really know what I'm doing." Just like, no, you have the support. One, I had the Facebook group, and
mhm.
two, I had all of the modules. And if I had a specific questions, I could ask. So I had that support there. As I was transitioning to the DTP process and like refining my own processes to make it more streamlined.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, so
Mm.
within 30 days, you landed your 7K client. That was your highest paid client to date at that point. What
Yes.
were you charging prior to that though? Because I know a lot of times we hear high ticket and we're like, how can, like, we can't even wrap our mind around charging that much. But there's a
Mhm.
whole other thing around raising your prices and actually landing clients who pay those increased prices. So, what were you charging pre DTP?
So pre DTP, I was charging like $1,500 for a VIP day.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and then it was like 3K for 2 days, and I was like, yeah, the math is not mathing because I'm like,
Right.
this is a lot of work and
Yes.
time and effort, and I was like, yeah, no, this is not working. So that's why I think I was getting frustrated because I'm like, I feel like I could charge more, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went from that and now I'm just like, nope, we're not doing that. Like my prices have increased even more now because I'm
Mhm.
like, I know exactly what I'm doing. And now that I know the results, I'm like, I'm not budging on that. If you can afford me, that's fine. Maybe next time.
Yeah. And that, you brought such a valid point. I know the
Yeah.
results I bring to the table, so the price is, it is what it is. Like, you don't have to justify it, you don't have to validate it, you don't have to prove or convince anyone because you have the receipts. You have the, like, this is what these are the results that I'm able to create. And said results requires a certain investment, right?
Yeah, yeah. And now even when I think about it, I'm like, I can't believe I
Yeah.
was charging $1,500 for a whole day. I'm like, absolutely not. This is and then after that, I'm like looking at the assets that I created. They're being used over and over to promote and
Mhm.
generating dollars and dollars and like even the back end. But I get like the short end of the stick. I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah. And that is such a part of the problem in our industry. We as designers do not realize the value that we bring to the table. Like,
Yeah, I,
go ahead. When you shared your numbers with us from that client, it was like, it was insane. It was insane.
that was the aha moment for me. After I did that, I was I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I am all that in a bag of chips and I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Absolutely. So let's give the people some insight. What are we talking about? The level of results you were able to create. So obviously you mentioned, in addition to, you know, the design piece of it, you do systems as well. So
Yeah.
what kind of results were you able to create for your clients? Just so that people can get an idea of what we're talking about. Transformation. You know, it isn't design, it isn't stuff. It's a true
Yeah.
transformation.
Yeah, I mean, even when you're thinking about when you're looking at a website, well, yeah, it sits on the internet. I think people need to realize that it is your kind of your online home and your marketing tool. So when you're doing that, it needs to be very strategic in how you do that and how you want people to enter your funnels in different ways. So just thinking about email list wise, like I think it was over 1,000% increase in over 4 months. Even on the email, we had a back end funnel that converted to like 3%. When you're looking at industry average, it's 2 to 5%. Um, and people were buying on the funnel on the back end. So that was just like amazing. I'm like thinking, I'm like, wow, even like increase like even something I was able to do with my client is kind of like coach and say, hey, you should do VIP days. You're busy. It's like one and done and charge this price. And now that she kind of had that framework, she was able to charge and like book a whole bunch in one day. So I was able to help her increase her revenue by just helping her clarify her offers and what she had to offer. Um,
Absolutely.
like that's just golden.
And that's the thing though. Like the real value that we bring to the table, it's not the design. It's not the design. And so many designers are caught up on the design, and that's keeping you stuck in not being able to go high ticket.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And even I think I was at one point intimidated. I'm like, strategy? Like what? Brand strategy? Like what is that? I'm like, but I do design. But then I realized I'm like, girl, you were already doing this. You
Already
just weren't
doing it.
doing it. Yep. You weren't doing it like in a way that I guess the way you have it presented, it just makes it clearer.
Mm.
So that was a game changer.
Yes, love that. So we're doing strategy now. We are really create one number that stuck out in my mind
Yes.
was I think it was it was like a 300 or 3,000% increase in subscribers to their email list. That was so huge. And a lot of times people come to us for designs for website, right? But they want it for a reason, and they don't understand, like they don't really know what they are expecting. And our approach, because it is so infused in strategy, is we're able to understand what they actually want so that we
Yeah.
can sell them what they actually want, and it makes it that no-brainer situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so interesting when people come to me, oh, I need a website. And then when you start asking the right questions, it's like, yeah, no, you don't actually want a website. You basically want a whole system that qualifies your leads so that you can actually go through those leads to make more money. Like you did not have that structure in place. So while the website is all good and dandy, if you don't have the systems on the back end, it's going to do nothing for you.
Exactly. Exactly. And so understand, and it's wild too because like your people are serial entrepreneurs. Like they're busy. They
Yeah.
have zero time. And we had so many conversations about this. And that's one thing I love about Design to Profit is with the live coaching aspect. Like I know your business, and it's just I have loved watching like that evolution. And the more of the right people that you work with, the more you uncover like, okay, this is what I'm actually doing, and even more so how to position yourself. So I want to ask, like, now going through the program and being in 9-10 months now, like how does your business look different? I have a two-part question. First is, how does your business look different?
In terms of how my business looks different, I realized even going through the design to profit and doing the coaching calls, I'm like, I don't like long-term clients. I really enjoy the one and done. And I think I was going back and forth with myself saying that I can't do it and it doesn't make sense. But even just going through the process and the coaching calls, it's like, no, you can do it. They're just not going to get the deep dive. And even just learning about how to price anchor certain things. So, one, my business is now clear. I have a really great understanding of step by step what each process in part, I guess, part of my process includes what documents.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm now like in the future, maybe like a month or two, when I hire someone to kind of like help and do the administrative stuff, everything's already laid out. So I know what I can delegate, what's manual, what's not, and where I need to be. So and essentially it's pushing me into the CEO position where I'm not doing all of the administrative tasks. And yeah, so I would say that's how it's changed my business. I don't have to be in the weeds, and yeah, I think that's like the biggest takeaway. I
Yeah.
have all the step by step process of everything that happens, and I can delegate. And even within those processes, I can break it down into different offers. So it's not about creating something new or reinventing the wheel. It's like taking pieces of your process and creating different offers. So I would say that's like one of my biggest takeaways from DTP.
Yes, love that. Love that. So you're no longer in the weeds. So the second part to that question is, how have the changes in your business impacted your life?
Ooh, that's a really, really good question. I changes in my business, one mindset. I mean, my mindset has completely changed. I mean, a lot of times in our calls, you're always talking about attracting energy and attracting the right clients. Super huge. I would say that's changed in that sense. And in terms of like, it's like, yeah, if I want to make 250K or 350K, I can. This
Yep.
is how you do it. These are the metrics to measure. Um, I would say it has, so being in DTP, I feel like one, it has increased my income. Like I have a clearer path and like I can do more things because I have that while I'm still in my 9 to 5, but it's just like, okay, you have a path now
Yeah.
and you know how to make the money. And it's now more so just getting out there, putting yourself out there more. So I would say it's changed my life in that sense. And it's given me it's given me more confidence and the ability to like believe in myself. Like, yes, girl, you got this. Like, stop looking at other people's stuff. You are you, and that's that.
Yes. And there is so much power. There is so much power in just owning who you are. Like literally like your authenticity is the only thing that you have that no one else has. And I just love so much that that really is what we focus on in DTP is what is your something special, you know? And we just go all in on that and it makes everything feel good. It makes everything just like you wake up excited again. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. I would say I love hearing everyone, like even during the coaching calls, because everyone's business is different.
Yep.
While we might be doing similar things, everyone's story, how they do things is very different. And I think that's refreshing because when you don't have that community, you kind of feel alone
Yeah.
or you feel like you don't have anyone to kind of talk through some of the issues you're having, maybe with clients or processes. So that foundation and that support is a game changer.
Yes, love it. Someone gave us a heart. Oh, we have some visitor or some viewers on Facebook. Hey y'all. They're giving you
Okay.
hearts, Felicia. They're giving you hearts.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I love that. You know, and I really the community aspect, like I was there, like in that in the thick of it, not having anyone to talk to or anyone that really understood. That's the main thing. Like we get it. We get it. And so
I
yeah,
mhm.
you know, the community, the just really everything that has been created, I'm just so proud of. And it's so much more than I ever dreamed it could be because of amazing students like you who come in and you do the work and you trust the process and you ask questions and you show up. And, you know, even I think you submitted a tips for our advice, that's what it was called, advice for our new students, like how to be successful, and you're like, show up to the coaching calls. Even if you don't have questions, show up because you never know what you're going to get from it. So I just love like your whole approach to the program and what you've been able to do because of it. So I'm curious, if there, so if we have people watching, if there's anyone who is just kind of unsure if, you know, maybe this is the right path for them, they're on the fence, what would you say to them? What would your words of wisdom be?
Don't, yeah, my words of wisdom is don't think about it, just do it. Because in the first 60 days, I made back my money. Like I wasn't like, I mean, not 60, 30 days. I was like, up,
Oh,
covered.
30,
Like,
yes.
yeah, yeah, 30 days, not 60. So I'm just like, just do it. And think about how much time you're wasting spinning your wheels and how much you're actually losing. I think people don't look at like the cost benefit analysis of
Yeah,
things. It's like, yeah, you have to put this money up front, but it's like, think about where you're losing and think about how much growth you can make if you actually invest in yourself and show up. So if you are thinking about DTP, I highly recommend um, and just even having Amber, like you get to actually speak with her because a lot of programs you don't. You get
yeah,
to actually speak with her, and she doesn't give you the fluff. She gives you the real and answers your questions, which is great. And you have a supportive community, which is so important.
yeah.
So highly recommend DTP, and I'm happy that I joined. and made that decision to do it.
I love it. I love it. Okay, before we close off, I do want to give them. Okay, so pre DTP, you said you were at 1,500 to 3,000 was your price point. Within 30 days, you closed your highest paid client at 7,000. And recently, we've done some things. We've done some things as you've grown. Tell us what your investment is, if you're comfortable now to tell us.
I am absolutely comfortable. Listen, I mean, this is good because this is live being broadcasted and being my prices. So now my VIP day is 10K. You can choose from brand and web. We can do that, or we can do your systems, which focuses on your customer experience and creating different funnels on that. And then I have a larger package that does just a deeper dive. And over 5 to 6 weeks, we go through brand, web, and systems, and that's at 20K. It's a 20K investment.
Boom.
It's essentially setting up your business. Yep.
It's for me. It's 20K. Not a bad of an eye, not a stutter, a hesitation, nothing. And I've looked at your intake form today, Felicia, and your goal, everything that you mentioned was part of it. The community was a part of it.
Yeah.
The revenue, the big number you put up there was 20K. That's the number that you put, and now you're charging 20K, and then the other one was to get your processes in order. And literally, and that was, so I asked on the intake form, what are your top 3 things that you want to accomplish over our year together? So I do get that baseline, like, what are we trying to do? And within 9 to 10 months, you've already checked off all 3 of those.
I definitely have. Yeah, which is blowing. I mean, and sometimes you get in your head and, like I said, show up for the cause, because you'll get the aha moments and you're like, oh my God, let me go fix this. So it's definitely been a transformation for me, and just having that support completely game changer, change my perspective on how I see things.
Yeah. Love it so much. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't want to go too much over. I know we set out a certain amount of time. I feel like just wow, just to hear kind of where you said you came in at, having gone through programs, they were great, but just not meant for design, like specific to designers. And just to hear like how far you've been able to come in such a short amount of time. I mean, landing a 7K client within the first 30 days is insane. That is amazing. I'm just so proud of you for coming in, trusting the process, doing the work, coming to the calls. Like, I see my regular faces, right? Like, I see you all, and I'm like, yep, okay, I know. And if y'all aren't there, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, what's going on? So there is like this, it's just this unspoken level of support and accountability that even on top of the spoken, it is still there. Like, we're looking out, we're watching for you guys, and we're watching your progress, and we're just, we love to see when you're doing the things and they work, and the confidence there. Yeah.
And I would definitely say, even the things that you learned in DTP, I never thought, wow, I can actually use some of this for my clients to get the clarity that I'm getting. Yes. So that's another, it's like you get double benefits.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with the updates that we're making with 2.0, there are so many more. If there could be more, like, there are more resources coming, because we're watching and we're seeing like what you guys need, right? Like, what's needed, what's missing, and we're making sure that we're giving you all what you need, because you guys winning is like our number one. Like, if y'all ain't winning, then what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, I just want to commend you, congratulate you on such amazing progress over a short amount of time. 7K, 20K, like, and this is just the beginning. Like, the sky literally is the limit, and I'm just so excited to see where your path unfolds, because I say this all the time, like we're so much bigger and more than just designers, right? Like, that's kind of the back
Yes.
end of what we do. It's so much more than that. So I'm just so excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to see what the future holds now that I have the exact tools that I need to push
Mhm.
forward.
Love it, love it. Okay, so I'm gonna, before we end, I do want to have you share, um, for anyone who's watching, if they want to just say hello or ask you some questions, how can they find you, or where can they find you at?
So you can find me on Instagram at Design by Felicia with two A's at the end. And if you want to just check out my website, it's designbyfelicia.com. So that's where you can find me if you have questions. Pretty quick to respond.
Amazing. I love it so much. Well, Felicia, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you coming in, sharing your story. We'll definitely have to do an update for sure. Like, just how
Okay.
much you've grown in a short amount of time. Like, I can only imagine a year from now. So we'll definitely have to have you come back on and share all the amazingness that I know is going to happen. In the meantime, I'm going to continue to be watching and supporting and cheering you on, and doing what we
Thank you.
do, how we do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
I appreciate you for having me on.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you on the next episode of the DTP Show. Bye, guys.
Bye.